You want to semi-retire too, eh? Well, let's talk about it. So I wanted to kind of address a few comments I received over the past week or two that, kind of, got me thinking about some shit. But first, I feel like there's some people here that haven't been with me a long time, or if they haven't watched a lot of my videos. I do share a lot. I share more than a lot of people here on my channel. But I do not share everything. There are a couple of things for very good reasons, do not share. I do not share the specifics of where I live or my living situation in general. Except to say, as rent is not an issue, I live in a small room and I have access to a basement to put shit in, essentially, because trying to set up a studio and they're completely failed. And that's it. That's all I'm willing to talk about in regards to that aspect of my life. It doesn't make sense for me to have my own place, especially in this modern economy, as it would not enable me to be a part-timer. If I had to pay rent for a huge apartment that I'll probably never be in because I have to pay for the rent for the fucking apartment, it would be like a zero-sum game, not worth doing. If anything, if I didn't have the deal I have with the way I'm living, I would be in this car when I'm not in the truck, and vice versa. So, and maybe have a storage unit somewhere. And that's the scenario. That's, if I were to somehow lose the living situation I have, that is what I would do. I would put my shit in storage and I would live in here or on the road. So there's an option for you if you don't have other options. Your life is your life. I'm not on here trying to get you to do exactly what I do, word for word. I don't talk about some people that are in my life because they didn't sign up to be on YouTube or exposed to the internet in its full glory, which is what happens when you're on YouTube and you make videos. You don't know who's watching you. You don't know their motivations. And there are some real fucking dickheads on the internet that will do insane things. And if you want to avoid that, you got to take steps to protect where you are. You don't go live and say, I'm live right here at the McDonald's in blah, blah, blah town, or whatever, or you're going to get fucked with. The internet fucks with you. I don't know if you noticed that, But one thing I've learned over the years is to be a little less open about specifics when it comes to how to find me, and who is in my life. Now, there have been people that I've thoroughly briefed and vetted, and told them, look, this is the internet. If you come on my channel, you're going to expose yourself to whatever the fucking internet feels like doing at the time, and sometimes it's not good. So I don't share a lot about people and family and stuff like that on this channel. That's the reason I don't do that. The other thing that I don't know if you've noticed I don't share is the company I work for, all right? And so as an alternative of telling you specifically who I work for, and I've got somebody badgering me right now, and they're getting pissed because I didn't, respond. So this video is your response. I don't generally talk about the company I work for until I'm not working for them anymore. But that isn't your only option. And you could even track down, probably figure out what company I'm working for and get the same gig I have. But I'm going to give you some tips right now on how to become a part-time trucker. First of all, you have to have done your time. You have to have about 3 years experience at the bare minimum, because then that puts you in the insurance bracket for a lot of companies, and they will hire you no matter what, assuming your trucking record is clean, your drug screens are good, you don't have a shit ton of accidents, you don't have a shit ton of tickets, that kind of stuff. But if you're marketable or whatever, it's not hard. If you meet that minimum criteria, it's not hard to find a part-time or casual trucking job, especially in today's day and age. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. The other thing that you need to be prepared for if you're going to go part-time is your lifestyle. I live a minimalist lifestyle. The majority of my shit is either stored in a basement right now or in my little room with the pull-out couch that I sleep on when I'm home. I don't have a bed, a normal bed. The bed that I sleep on is literally the same bed I put in this fucking thing when I hit the road in the Prius. And the trucks all come with, memory foam mattresses. So, some of them are nasty, but it's part of the deal with being a part-timer. If you do your homework, like you can literally Google or DuckDuckGo is what I use, search the term part-time trucking, and you'll get a laundry list of gigs. And all of them are different. I mean, some of them, there'll be a dedicated run that you do maybe once or twice a month, and that's it. And then you're done. You're off. And you can do other things, like fill in the gaps with gig economy if finances are a thing. There is training jobs, teaching jobs, like NTTS, that kind of stuff, where you can go and part-time go in once or twice a week and watch people fuck up backing all day. It's, try and teach them. Good luck with that. But that is another option. There's companies that require you to be part-time going in. UPS comes to mind, and I know somebody who works at UPS. They require you to be casual, as in they call you when they need you. The downside was that it's when they need you, you don't really get to, you can turn it down. But they're kind of aggressive, I feel like, then they would be pissy if you turned everything down all the time, and you might not, move up the ladder if that is a goal. But there's it's all on seniority. They're a union job, and they pay really well, though, for the time that you're there. They pay probably some of the best hourly pay I've ever heard of, but that particular gig doesn't really tickle my, fancy. So maybe it's something that you could do, and then you could do things like take a month off with them. Just, they're going to call you and bother you when things are busy, and then I do believe during peak season, which is like, I think November or whatever, through January, I think, I don't know, something like that. They get really busy, and they do require you to work, in the winter. So if you don't care about winter, that's the part-time gig for you. But it's not hard to find these gigs, but you gotta be upfront about it. Talk to the companies, especially if they're advertising for part-time. If they have part-time written in there, ask them what it is. And if it's something that sounds good to you, then go for it. If not, find someone else. It's still there's still a driver shortage. The kids coming up nowadays aren't hopping in trucks. At least not yet. They'll figure it out sooner or later. They're doing gig economy and sitting at home on TikTok and doing whatever. That's what the new generation is doing. Or they're in the cushy tech job making six figures. Majority are not doing that, but, there are a few that are. But they're not getting in trucks. When I look around at my fellow truckers, there's a lot of middle-aged, and, there are some young folks, but I'd say it's maybe 1 in 10 that are younger. Most are middle-aged or older. There are men and women in the trucking industry. There's a lot more women now than there used to be, and so that's changing a bit. But for the most part, there's still not a lot of people filling in the gaps when the old timers burn out, and this is a burnout industry. If you do it long enough, you're going to burn out and want to get the fuck out of it. It takes you got to be a real hard motherfucker to last 20 years. And which leads me to another thing I want to talk about, because someone asked me, I dream of buying a $130,000 fucking camper van, and I fantasize about it. I look at the different things. Oh, that'd be really awesome to cruise around the country for. But then I realize, I've had this job a long time and the ability to bust my ass and pile up cash and do all of that. First of all, I got shitty credit. My credit is bad. I fucked that up early on and I never bothered to rebuild it. And I don't believe in debt. I carry a little bit of debt here and there. Right now I'm carrying a little bit of debt for my camera, and that'll be paid off this year. But for the most part, I don't have any debt. I own my vehicle, and I have the expenses associated with that. But other than that, if I were to lose my job or something happened physically and I couldn't work in trucking anymore, I would be okay for the time being, because I'm not in debt up to my fucking eyeballs. But there's been a struggle, I don't know if you've noticed, over the past 5-6 years of my channel, where I was bouncing in and out of trucking. Which is also a part-time option, by the way. My first initial plan for semi-retirement was to work full-time and then quit. Work full-time, pile up money, and then quit. And this pattern isn't very conducive with saving up 130 grand to buy some van, or even 60 to 80 grand to buy a used one. Or, I could probably do 20 to 30 grand and buy a piece of shit that's going to need repairs all the time. But I'm not really, I'm not about that life. We'll see. I'm still researching and thinking about what I do, but there will be some full-time nomading in my own vehicle at some point. And it's likely going to continue to be part-time trucking, part-time nomad, on my own, van lifing it. Or part-time here in Syracuse doing my thing, but I'm trying to change it up, and that's what this last few weeks, the whole month that I spent on the road has been about. It's been figuring out what I want to do. Do I want to have tons of money and not a lot of time, with the possibility of having more time and money on my own to do my own things? But right now, the things I've been doing on my own, on that time off, when I take that almost a month off each time, haven't been healthy and have led to me drinking my face off and just really not taking care of myself mentally and physically. And so I'm trying to change it up. And in the meantime, it's probably more productive and healthy for me to hop in the truck and work more and take less time off right now, especially being that I am planning a rather aggressive cross-country trip in the Prius real soon. So, it's a matter of what fits your life and what doesn't. If you're looking to be a part-time trucker, the big scenario, I would say, if especially if you like OTR and want to do that, I would go OTR for a year and then quit for a year and come back, get a bonus somewhere. There's hiring bonuses all over the place. Do it again when the money runs low, and supplement with some gig economy when you're not working in the truck. But it's a struggle. And what I've been struggling with, like, I've quit trucking to be a full-time photographer. I did that for 2 years. And also full-time content creator back. And by the way, bye Susan, glad you're gone, fuck you. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system. But, struggling to be a full-time content creator and a YouTuber, and trying to find ways to get out of the truck permanently. And it never really fully worked out. I always ended up going back and getting rehired. So there's been times where there was a couple times where I took a full 2 years off of trucking. And got hired back without even a fucking, a blink. They were glad to have me back. I even got a hiring bonus when I came back. And it's a revolving door industry now, and they've accepted it. The employers, and they try and dangle the big dollars in front of you to try and get you through the door, and then they try to keep you there by not paying your bonus out. Like, they'll take a year to give you that bonus. So to try and get you to be behind the wheel. Ultimately, they still want you out there 70 hours a week busting your ass. They don't want you to have a life. They want you to roll down the road and move that freight around. That's all they really fucking care about for the most part, but they're a lot nicer to you now than they used to be because there's less of us. So they treat us a little bit better. Not everywhere. There's some companies that are still absolute, tyrannical fucking assholes. I am fortunate right now that in my situation, my boss is fine. But even then, I still notice a little bit of resentment from some of my full-time coworkers because they have structured their life in such a way where they can't take a month off, and I've seen that a lot. There's people that would love nothing better than to be semi-retired, but the way they set their life up, they're in debt, they're leveraged, they have a family to support, they have basically a lot of overhead that I don't have based on my life choices, some of which were not my choice, but just happened the way they happened. So, I'm not trying to show you guys my life thinking that that's something that you should do or try or strive to do. I'm trying to just share my struggles and see what y'all say about it, and some of you say some things that make sense. So yes, if I want a nice van, I'm going to have to bust my ass in the truck a lot more than I have been. And right now I'm struggling with is it worth my time? Don't forget, your number one resource in life is time. And it's ticking it doesn't stop, till you're done. And you're going to be done someday. And who knows when that is? There are people that I have lost, and I'm just like, why do I get more time than then? And they worked a lot harder to do all of the things that the American dream that they teach you to do, and they're gone, and I'm still here. And that's kind of hard it does make you evaluate a lot of things, and then I see people who are retiring and how they're living, and I'm like, I don't know that that's what I wanted, bust my ass 70 hours a week for the rest of my life, and then try and retire when my health is gone, and when the cost of living is just skyrocketed beyond all reach, that basically wastes a lot of time. When people are trying to retire this year are not smiling too much is because they lost, I think it was 12 or 13% of their retirement plan, when they're supposed to be gaining 8 to 12% every year. It's not a happy time to pull your money out of a 401k, which I don't have any money in my 401k. So guess what? This is it. This lifestyle has to be the way it is for the rest of my life. I will be working part-time, maybe even full-time, for the rest of my life. There's no, don't have to work anymore scenario unless I win the lottery, unless they somehow make content creation a thing I could do full-time, which it's not going to happen. The spigot's been turned off. I cannot grow this channel anymore, no matter what I do, It's just a question of what do I do now? And what I do now is part-time trucking. And I'm flirting with the idea of going full-time for a while, only because I'm looking at something that's expensive, which is buying a decent vehicle to dwell in when I travel. And travel is still one of my biggest goals. I never feel more alive than I did when I was in the Grand Tetons, or when I was drinking coffee in Canyonlands National Park and had the whole park to myself because I got there at 4 a.m, and nobody was there, and it was just fucking awesome. And these are things I've done that really resonate with me and really make it worth it. Make all the things I've done to get there, and the sacrifices I've made to give up the American dream and become a part-timer. So, and that's your options, get rid of your debt, it probably helps a lot if you're single. So there's that, but you got some decisions to make, this life isn't something everyone wants. Some people want the house, the family, the picket fence, the yard, the American dream. The one that's way harder to get now. And you're going to be in debt up to your fucking eyeballs to do it. You're probably going to have to work 2-3 jobs to maintain it. And that's just life now. And this is my adaptation to that. I spent a great period of my life chasing the whole thing. And it didn't work out. So here I am now, approaching the 50s. And I'm really giving some serious thought to what I have to do as I get older. And I know it's not going to be fun to be on the road. If I make it to 70, which I don't anticipate, and nor do I want to be honest with you. But I do have to have some kind of plan on what to do should I not be able to go trucking anymore. And I do believe that van life does still hold that ability, coupled with some gig economy work, which they don't care who you are as long as you can do it, And, the other reason I'm considering a larger van is also there's a lot of gig economy apps. There's Shipley where you can, if you've got enough van room, you can just load it up with packages and deliver shit. As long as you can structure your vehicle in such a way that it gives you room to do that. But I can even do stuff like that in the Prius. There's Roadie is an app where you can just deliver shit from stores like Home Depot, Tractor Supply, Best Buy, basically all the local stores. I think Walmart just got picked up on that account too. You can do Amazon Flex where you pull your vehicle up and they load you full of packages, and then Jeff Bezos, cracks some whips on you to get you to hurry up and deliver them all. There's lots of options. There's seasonal work. You can work in campgrounds. You can do all of that kind of shit. And I look into all of that because I'm not going to be in a truck till I die because they won't let me. There'll be a point where I physically can't pass the DOT, and that'll be that. So I have to start preparing for that eventuality while maintaining as much of my free time as I can, and that's where my money has gone. For those of you who are wondering why I don't just fucking bust my ass, I'm constantly struggling with that question because I could bust my ass for the next 3 years, save up $100,000, go out and buy, a semi-used nice camper van, and then, I die before I can even buy it. So then all of that time is gone. So, that I weigh that. I would much rather be a part-timer and live my life, and go out and travel and see the things that I have yet to see. I'm going to hopefully cross the Grand Canyon off my bucket list this year. I might cross Glacier National Park off my bucket list, along with whatever else I find along the way. And those are things I want to do. I still want to do the AT, but I don't know if I'll be able physically to do it. I still want to get out and backpack and eventually get healthier again if I bother to do that. But like I said, all of it's for nothing if the fucking world ends. That's the other issue, Look at where we are. Are we in the stablest fucking planet right now? Our economy's on the brink of fucking complete failure. We're on the brink of World War III with nukes and fucking Chinese balloons floating around everywhere. And we're shooting down $14 balloons that some kid let off from his birthday party with a $400,000 missile. I'm sure this is not sustainable, what we're doing right now. So what good would it do me if I busted my ass for the next 4 years and accomplished all of this, only to have the motherfucking thing, whole economy thing, and all of our fucking civilization just fucking collapse? So there is that. So, but that's what it is. I share what I can share on here. I don't share everything, and to be quite honest with you're lucky I even fucking make videos at this point with the way YouTube's treated its content creators over the years. I still got a fucking warning on my channel. It's still there from back when I told you that the jab was bad. It's even though they're now, you got MSNBC and CNN telling you the same thing finally. A little late, but could have used that information a couple years ago. But hey, can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. But that's the thing. Content creation didn't work out. A lot of these things I've tried to get out of the truck and do and live that full life, haven't been possible, and I'm still trying to learn new things, and some of you have even taught me, because you do that, you're out there doing the van life thing, and you've given me options. Somebody told me to go to the Philippines. I'm like, I don't even know if I can get on a fucking plane because I'm a pureblood. I'm not jabbed. So I don't know that the other countries are going to tolerate me. I know Canada won't, and they're right next door. I could drive over there if I wanted. But unfortunately, I can't cross the border because, of that stupid shit. So, it just comes down to what I'm struggling with now is what to do. And I'm going back and forth constantly. I am resolved to work more and take less time off for now. To get this car in order, to get ready for my road trip, to make sure I have a decent amount of money. So, like when I'm in Vegas, if I want to hotel it, I can hotel it. Or if I'm going to stealth, I'm going to stealth. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But I'm preparing for that. I'm getting the car in for a tune-up. Turns out I didn't need tires yet. Somehow that's a little weird. You looked at it last time, it's like you might need to think about changing the tires, and then I got my inspection done, and it's like, oh no, you're good to get to Vegas. So there's that. But it is getting to be 100,000 miles in this car, so I'm getting a tune-up done, getting the AC serviced so that if it's super hot out, I can climate control my way across the country, which is why I favor hybrids for van life type situations. And of course, this Prius is a trooper. It's gotten me through a whole lot of trips. It's been all over the country now, and to 110 degree deserts and to freezing cold. So either way, it's been a trooper in keeping me from being uncomfortable on the road, although I could use a lot more room than what I have in here. But I think, who knows? Maybe me going out in the Prius on this Vegas trip will get me more inclined to be happy with what I got and not waste 2 or 3 years of my life trying to upgrade my vehicle, which is how much time I feel like I would have to work to pay cash for an upgrade to the Prius, and like I said, that Toyota Sienna I feel like is a middle ground. It's a minivan, it's hybrid. It'd be like a giant Prius, with maybe 10 miles per gallon less fuel, because that's a concern too, because they're pushing to get rid of that as an option for, there'll be a time that they're so harsh towards oil and fuel that it'll be expensive as fuck, and everything's going to eventually probably be electric, which I think is stupid, but, they can do what they got to do. It's going to crash the economy for sure, though. So I have to plan for these things. That's why I find the hybrids are the nice middle ground, instead of getting a huge RV, you get 10 miles of the gallon. So there's that. And I travel a lot when I go do the nomad thing, so I would like something that can get the job done. And plus, there's also a few things, without going into details, that could force me to be in Syracuse. I do have friends and family here that like having me around. And, of course, my mother's health could fail at some point to where I have to take care of her. And I've promised her that I would. So that is something that is a possibility in the future that could just completely derail whatever plans I got going at the time. But eventually, you're going to see a lot more of me nomading. Whether it's in the truck, or it's in here, or it's in a van that I've stupidly purchased. I don't know. But that's it, You do you, honestly. I'm not trying to virtue signal that I'm living some fucking, enlightened way or whatever. I'm a minimalist. That's first and foremost has gotten me this far, and it's gotten me all over the country. It's gotten me out of the country, That 2 years where I tried to be a full-time photographer, you can go back and watch the videos. I was going to fucking St. Lucia and shit. Traded photography to go to St. Lucia. All I had to do was buy the plane ticket. All my accommodations were taken care of down there. So, try it. Try whatever your fucking dream is. Give it a shot. It's not always going to work out. If you want to be a part-time trucker and take a month off at a time, you can make it happen. I'm just living proof of that. Is it going to be everything you dreamed? Probably not. That's the issue, And these last 3 years have been the hardest of all of it, just because of the way the world has been and the way society has been. And don't let society try and tell you what's right and wrong either. It's the other fucking thing. People get they get defensive when you live differently than them, and they try and they take it out on you like you're somehow a piece of shit or something because you're doing something different, like living in a vehicle, or you don't pay rent, or you don't have a house, or you don't have what you're supposed to have, or do what they think is you should be doing. Fuck you. We do what we want. All right, I'm doing what the fuck I want. I don't live for the judgment of others. All right, I do what I do because I'm trying to find my way through this life, and to find peace, to find happiness, to get rid of depression. And I tried a lot of things. You've watched this journey for the last 5-6 years. You can go back, and if you haven't, I recommend that. It's been a journey. It's a huge story. I realize you might not want to watch hundreds of fucking videos from me for the last 5-year catalog. But hey, if you're bored someday, a little binge watch here and there never hurts you. And you'll see I've evolved and changed, and probably not for the better, in my opinion. I think I've slid down from my healthier, more optimistic days. But a lot's happened that brought me there, and I've talked about it, and I've shared that with you guys. So, you do you, though, in the end. I'm not telling you the way you're living your life is fucked up, and I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm telling you what I'm doing, and I'm telling you why I'm doing it, and it may be a mistake, or it may be a better way. That's up to you, If you want to try what I do, try it. But, don't feel entitled that I need to do something just because you say so, or that, you feel like you've watched me for a couple years, so that somehow entitles you to something, or for me to do something. Otherwise you'll unsubscribe or whatever. That I've been under that scrutiny, especially when I got super political. There were some people that were like, "I'm unsubscribing because you're done. You don't like Obama. You don't like Biden. Fuck you. Go away. I don't care." That's the thing. I'm a libertarian. That's what I believe. I believe in freedom. I believe in leave me the fuck alone. That's my fucking political stance. Leave me the fuck alone. And if you can't handle it, then okay, see ya. It's not going to affect my life any. But there's been a large community that has stuck it out with me through all the stupid shit I do, for all the ranting and the raving and the just general lifestyle shit that I've done, a lot of people have stuck it out, and I'm thankful for you if that's you, because that just goes to show you're not judging me. You're just, entertained by what I'm doing, or you like what I'm doing, or you like me. I don't know. Yeah, but I'm here to live my life and share it with you. I'm not going to let anyone tell me what to do. And in fact, telling me what to do makes me want to do the exact fucking opposite. That's just part of my personality. It's ingrained, but I'm just being me. I'm just doing my thing, and hopefully you like it. If not, all right. I try different things, and I might be on a whole nother kick of trying to full-time content create someday. Who knows? I'm not mapping out or saying that this is the way my future is. I'm just trying to figure it out. As are we all, really, if you think about it. Got to get through this fucked up world somehow, and I'm pretty much doing it by myself. I'm not looking that I'm going to have a relationship anytime soon, if at all. So I'm going to be on my own when push comes to shove. And that's not for everyone either. But it does make what I'm doing a hell of a lot easier. I'll put it that way. Not a lot of ride or dies that are going to ride with you in a fucking little ass Prius going across the country, So there's that. But it is what it is. As far as what I've been up to the last week that I've been home, I didn't film any of it because I've been busy. I have started drinking again, but not getting drunk. That's the weird part of it. I started drinking beer instead of liquor, and it turns out it's a good decision. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. It's kind of like social drinking. I average 1 beer an hour, so I literally probably metabolize all of it, as I'm drinking it. Because they say 1 drink per hour is how you process it and whatever in your system. And sure enough, there's a couple beers I tried that made me feel ill, like sick, almost like I was allergic to it or something. But I found that like Yingling and Bud Light, and they're not sponsors, are I don't get a headache for no reason or whatever, or feel like shit the next day or anything like that. So I stuck with those once I figured that out. I did try Modelo, and oh my god, it tasted good, but that was like some Schlitz fucking hangover shit without the benefit of being fucked up. So yes, I am socially drinking again, but a lot more responsibly than I did before. As for depression, I've had some mild bouts of depression, but they haven't been game breakers yet. But before that, I feel like the longer I stay here, though, the more depressed I will get. So it's a good thing that I'm going back out on the road so soon. I got 1 more week off here, and then I'll be back in the truck again, and that's the other downside of the gig is it's not going to be the same truck. It's going to be whatever they got, and hopefully they got a good one this time. It's like truck roulette. Hopefully they don't give me one that breaks down and leaves me stranded in North Carolina and I have to rent a car to get home, because that wasn't fun. But, that's where I'm at with things right now. I've been hanging out with some friends while I'm back, doing the social rounds, because a lot of people have become aware of the fact that I'm just not going to be around as much. And that's what I need to do right now, I feel like, to get in the right headspace and to keep me from sliding down that road of binge drinking and being a miserable fuck. So that's pretty much what I'm up to. What the fuck do I know? I'm not an expert. I'm just an asshole. Do your homework. I haven't said that in a while, have I? Remember I used to tell you that? Don't just take my fucking word for it. I'm not your Google. My name isn't ChatGPT Sydney Bing. I'm not here to make it easy for you. I'm here to tell you that there's possibilities and that you need to go do your homework. If you're looking to be a part-time trucker, do your homework. There's a lot of different forms of part-time trucking. Find the one that works best for you, and it's not as hard to find as you may think. Yeah, there's companies out there that don't want you to, but you don't have to work for them. That's the beauty of it. In a worst case scenario, if you can't do that, work full-time for a year, pile up money the whole time, lower your expenses, put your shit in storage, whatever you got to do to minimize your outgo and maximize your inflow. Put it all together and then take a fucking year off. And then go back and do it again. I've done it. It's a completely possible form of trucking. And honestly, I was doing that when I fell into this casual trucking. I told them, I just need a year off to myself, so see yous. And they were like, oh, wait a minute. We can do this. And here I am, part-time trucker. So companies are starting to catch on to the idea of maybe we don't need to fucking enslave the truck driver for 70 hours a week. Maybe we can employ 3 or 4 drivers who are all part-time and they fill in those 70-hour work gaps. Because as you've seen, they fucking do work me 70 hours a week when I'm out there. Not because of our economy's booming, but because of the shortage of drivers. Less drivers, more work. Of course, if the economy somehow booms and there's still short of drivers, you're definitely working, and they'll probably throw lots of money at you to make you do it. But, live your life. Do your homework. Search. Talk to the recruiter. Say, look, this is what I'm looking for. Oh, we don't do that. Well, okay, bye. It's really that easy, And sooner or later, you'll get somebody like so desperate that they need drivers that they'll be like, okay, well, we can work with you. We can do this, and negotiate. There's no easy mode. I negotiated this part-time job, and it then became policy within the company that I work for that they do this. All right. And they're more lenient on time off for the full-time people now than they used to be. So there's that. Talk to your, don't be a dick, but negotiate. They need you more than you need them, believe it or not, especially if you structure your life in a way where you're debt-free and you don't have a lot of financial burden holding you down, And if you're not in that situation, time to start working on it. Get out of the debt, change your lifestyle, downsize. You'll be surprised at how little you need to live the same life that the people with the big houses and the picket fences and all of that are living. You don't need all of that, believe it or not. And a lot of it's just going to sit around. It's a thing. But I'm not, really telling you what to do, though. Maybe some people can't live without that. They need that. Well, you do you. But there's a price to pay for the decisions we make, and the price to pay to have all of those things is you're going to bust your fucking ass your entire life, And if you're cool with that, and you like doing that, and you like having the big stick and bricks full of shit, then so be it. You like having the $1,000 car payment every month, just so you have a nice shiny car that tells everyone around you you're successful, go for it. That's not me, though. That's not how I live my life. It's not how it's structured. It hasn't been structured that way a long time. So, and I'm not telling you that my way's better or your way sucks or any of that, even though a lot of people tell me my way sucks. I'm just saying this is how I chose to do it. And I'm living with the consequences of that. And I'm always thinking about how to improve it or change the circumstances to allow me to do the things that I want to do. That's it. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. I am kind of bored, though, being here at home. I've done all of the socializing. The weather's kind of shitty. It's not fucking warm. It's not cold either. It's kind of just bleh. Thought about doing a hike today, but it's like 40 degrees and windy, and I'm like, eh. So instead, I'm gonna go somewhere I haven't gone in a long time, and that's the mall. I'm going to Best Buy first, just to look around. I'm not gonna buy anything. So, I'll probably grab a bite to eat and go home. yeah, it's exciting. Can't wait to get back in the truck though. I'm ready. I'm already ready. I could just call them up and be like, hey. But no, I'm gonna stick it out another week, hang out with some people, and then I'll hit the road again. Ought to be interesting.